Guys, I turned 31 over the weekend, and the best gift you can give me is subscribing to my channel if you haven't done so already. What's up everybody, welcome to General Hospital Envy, my GH after show, coming at you on a Monday morning because it was my birthday this weekend and I deserved a break. However, the show was so good last week that I needed to talk to y'all about it, so let's get into it. It appears that a couple of the stories are starting to tie together, specifically Naomi Dreyfus's murder and the situation surrounding Drew Kane. Sean and Jordan are trying to retrace Naomi's steps before she came back to Port Charles, and they discover that she had a companion on the plane with her, a man by the name of Roger Barstow. Turns out this guy lives slightly out of Port Charles, and Curtis decides to bring Portia along so that he might feel more receptive into releasing files from Crichton Clark, since you know she's a doctor. Curtis, Portia, and Jordan run into each other at Roger's doorstep, and when Jordan realizes that his house was broken into, she decides to look around the property while Curtis and Portia walk around the property on the outside to try and find reception to call the local authorities. Jordan goes down into the basement and discovers Roger's dead body on the couch, and when she turns around, she gets knocked out by a random guy. This guy goes up the stairs and runs into Curtis. He tries to claim that this is his house, and Curtis is like, well no, I know whose house this belongs to, and the guy makes a break for it outside, and Curtis chases after him. Soon after, Portia goes into the house and notices that the basement door is cracked open, so she goes downstairs and discovers that Jordan is unconscious. She wakes her up, and the two of them try to go back upstairs, but the basement door is now locked, and on top of that, the gas is open in the basement. Why is it that every time someone gets trapped in the basement on this show, there's always a gas leak? Who even set it off? The guy already ran upstairs. Anyway, between the blow to the head, the smell of the gas, and the fact that Jordan only has one kidney, she collapses from the smell, and Portia tries to help her out and comforts her. And during that time, Portia has a bit of a monologue talking about how she can't leave Trina behind without a mother, and she talks about how she also can't leave this world without Trina knowing the truth about her father. Boom, bam, did we not call it when Portia came on that Curtis is definitely Trina's father? I knew it! My question is, why is it that now is the time that Portia needs to tell Trina the truth? I mean, first of all, she thought Taggart was dead, so why didn't she tell her then so that she wasn't grieving a father that wasn't hers? Furthermore, Curtis almost died not too long ago. She should have told him then, or at least Trina then. But no, now that she's dying, this is the time that she needs to tell Trina the truth. Furthermore, Portia knows damn well that Curtis cannot stand being lied to. This is why Jordan and Curtis were not together anymore. So you think that alone should have made her tell the truth if she really wanted to be with Curtis. Anyway, long story short, the three of them did get out of that situation alive, and they get brought to General Hospital. Jordan is not doing so good, and Curtis is by her bedside the entire time, crying over the fact that she could possibly die and saying that he still loves her. So if Portia does tell Curtis the truth, something tells me he'll go running right back to Jordan anyway. Let's not forget that when Portia tells Trina the truth, their relationship is probably not going to bode well either, since it's already on shaky ground. Let's talk about Trina, because this week I was so damn proud of this girl. I mean, she's already doing a better job than the PCPD is at solving mysteries, specifically the one about Ava's stalker. After a little bit of encouragement from Jocelyn, Trina marches right over to the Metro Court and straight up accuses Esme of being the stalker, especially after she finds out that Esme paid Ava a visit. I mean, on paper, it is a little bit of a stretch, but I mean, she still got it right. So like, you know. Basically, Trina's reasoning was that everyone knew Ava's daughter as Kiki Jerome, and she'd have to dig pretty deep to find out her real name was Lauren Catherine Jerome. Lauren Catherine Jerome would have been the name on the ID badge, and that's why Trina thinks that maybe she had something to do with it. Esme and Spencer kept a cool poker face, of course, and then Esme turned everything around on Trina and gaslit her. Not literally like Ava's car, but she basically says that Trina is just finding reasons to hate her because she wants Spencer all to herself. I swear, Spencer better get his shit together and tell Trina the truth before this crazy girl goes after her and hurts her. Alright, let's talk about Nicholas and Ava now. So it's been like 6 weeks since Ava and Nicholas filed for divorce. Ava thinks that the best thing to do at this point is to file a restraining order against Nicholas, and on top of that, hire some new bodyguards that work for the UFC, which reminds me of the line. So there was a line in there that Ava was like, they're former UFO instead of UFC, they're former UFC. I love moments like that. Maura West is so good at comedy, and I feel like they should utilize that more with her. When Nicholas shows up at the gallery despite the restraining order, those two bodyguards beat the crap out of Nicholas, and of course that has Ava running to his side, and Nicholas tries to take full advantage of it, and they have a COVID kiss. I have a suspicious feeling that we're probably not going to see Nicholas and Ava share a real kiss anytime soon. I can only really speculate here, but I just feel like certain actors are probably not comfortable kissing their acting partners in these current times. One couple that had an on-screen kiss this week was Charli. Let's talk about how we got there. Last we left off, Jason and everyone else that was at the Savoy got arrested for that stupid fist fight, and the next day he was pretty much let go right away, but not before Jason and Dante had a civil conversation about his marriage to Carly. It seems like everyone in Port Charles is in a, you know what, Charli kind of makes sense so I'm cool with it mood. Even Monica. I'm not sure how I feel about Monica's conversation with Carly this week. I mean, she pretty much downplayed the importance of every single woman that has been in Jason's life, especially Robin. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way. Monica says once again that she and Carly will never be friends, however she is fully capable of being a civil in-law with her, especially for Michael and Jason's sake. Now, I've mentioned in previous reviews that there is something off about Carly lately, especially when it comes to Jason, and this week we got an answer as to what she's been feeling. Carly disappears for a while and Jason eventually catches up with her at the former Jake's bar, which was eventually the floating rib bar that exploded last year. The reason why Carly is acting so standoffish is because she's afraid that she could potentially fall in love with Jason all over again, and it turns out that Jason is cool if that happens, which is how they kissed. I don't know, I just don't buy it, you guys. I get that Charli have been through a lot, but they just, you know, it's become a very platonic love over the years, and I feel like this is just weird. I mean, I guess she could fall in love with Jason again, but I just don't see Jason returning those feelings. Although he claims that he always loved Carly and that he kind of justified not being with her for Sonny's sake, you know, he put those feelings aside. I just don't buy it. That is not what I recall seeing on screen over the years. How do you guys feel about it? Let me know in the comments below. Anyway, because of that conversation, Carly is more than ready to tie the knot with Jason officially. However, there's a couple of problems right now. The first problem is that apparently every single person in the 5 families of the mob are against Jason and Carly and are going after the Corinthos organization, and they plan to do so on the night of Jason and Carly's wedding. The second and more colossal problem, though, is the fact that Sonny Corinthos is still alive. Nina is ready to go all in unapologetically with her relationship with Mike. However, then Jack shows up, you know, shortly after Mike leaves the area, of course, and he refuses to leave the Tano without meeting Mike. And eventually, thank God, Mike walked into the Tano and Jack seen him alive. However, this is General Hospital, and for some reason they live to drag certain things out. Instead of having Jax do the logical thing like saying, hey, your name is Sonny Corinthos, this is a picture of your wife and kids, he just kind of talks to Sonny for a little bit, and Nina tells Sonny to go away. And then of course Jax has to spend like the next 2 episodes explaining why it is wrong that Nina is doing this, and Nina of course tries to justify all the reasons she's doing this. Mike is better off not knowing the truth about his past. The world is a better place without Sonny Corinthos. This causes poor Jax to have to actually utter the words, Port Charles needs Sonny Corinthos. This is the first time I've felt so sorry for Jax. That must have been tough. He basically explains to Nina that the mob world is very unstable, that his daughter Jocelyn has been threatened by some of the mob families that are in Port Charles, and that Jason and Carly are having to marry and run the organization themselves in order to show face. And even that wasn't enough to convince Nina to tell Mike the truth. But then clever boy Jasper Jax plays the smart children/grandchildren card and says that it is wrong for her to deprive him of his children and that she should know what that pain already feels like. So Nina says that she will tell Sonny the truth as soon as he gets back to the Tano, and Jack says he is sticking around town until he knows for sure that Sonny knows the truth. She just wants to do it privately, I guess, because she's already humiliated. Sadly, I don't think we're going to get the chance to see that conversation play out, because after Jax leaves, in walks Peter August, who looks pissed off. I can just imagine him like roaming around St. Lucia on a wild goose chase. This guy doesn't even get to see Liesel because she was held hostage by an undead Cassadine elsewhere. This show is nuts. Well, folks, that pretty much sums it up. The only other scene really worth noting this week, actually there's a couple of scenes. First of all, Austin finds Leo in the hospital and he tells Ned that there is something off about him, and Ned apparently has picked up on it himself. I don't think that Austin brought up the word autism just yet, but I do feel like that's where the story is going. Also, Brooklyn tries to convince Maxie to take Austin out on a date to try to get more information on who he is as a person, and of course it doesn't really turn out so well. She tries to invite him to Charli and Jason's wedding, and he's like, I'm just not into weddings. Plus, I know that you feel uncomfortable seeing me because it reminds you that you lost Louise. Also, we got some really funny scenes this week where Sasha tells Gladys about Brando's side job as a stripper. Gladys's reaction was honestly priceless. She literally just chokes on water or whatever she was drinking. Gladys absolutely refuses to leave the house that she lives in with Brando. Honestly, if I was Brando, I would just move out of the house and in with Sasha. Then she has no choice but to try to pay the damn rent herself. But yeah, those were the highlights. Once again, sorry that I'm coming at you on a Monday morning. Hopefully I get this up before GH. I think I should. Anyway, I will end the video here though. If you like this video, give it a big old thumbs up. Subscribe if you want to. I'd truly, really appreciate it. And I will catch you guys next time. Peace out.